My name is Scarlett. 17 years ago, my husband ended our marriage with one sentence. You cannot give me children. You're useless. He said it in the kitchen, his suitcase already packed. He did not argue. He did not look back. He closed the door and left me sitting on the floor broken. The doctors had always blamed me. Infertility. Failed tests. Reports stamped with official seals. I believed them. He wanted out and the papers gave him his excuse. 2 months later he was with Clara. Younger. Smiling. Fertile. Within a year she wore his ring. Within 2 she carried his child. Everyone nodded in approval. Daniel found his family at last. I became the barren wife who had failed him. But 3 years later I gave birth to a daughter. Then a son. Then another daughter. Then another son. 4 children in total. Healthy. Strong. Alive. Proof that his story was built on lies. I never told him. I raised them alone. I worked double shifts. I cleaned houses, served food, saved coins. Slowly I built a business. My children grew tall. They grew proud. They became my legacy. And still at night I remembered his words. Useless. Nothing. Broken. 17 years passed. I thought the anger had faded. Until one morning I opened the newspaper. Daniel Hale. Ew. His smile stretched across the page. Clara beside him. 2 grown children behind them. The headline. A legacy of family and success. Legacy. He had erased me. He had erased my children. He stood in the light while our truth lived in shadow. 2 weeks later, an invitation arrived in the mail. A gala. Hosted by his company. His name printed in gold. I placed the card on the table. My eldest daughter Mira picked it up. Who is he? I looked at her siblings. For strong faces, for living answers to his lies. He is the man who once told me I was nothing. She tilted her head. And what are we going to do? We are going to show him. The night of the gala. I walked through the hotel lobby with my children. Security checked invitations. A guard scanned our passes then looked at us twice. Enjoy your evening, he said. The elevator doors opened. Music floated down the hallway. Laughter echoed. My son whispered, "He will see us?" "Yes," I said. "He will see everything." The ballroom glittered. Chandeliers blazed. Waiters moved with trays of champagne. The quartet played soft music near the stage. At the center, Daniel stood in a black suit, silver hair shining, Clara on his arm. Cameras circled him. Donors leaned in to shake his hand. First, he did not notice me. He laughed. He posed. He lifted a glass. He looked invincible. Then his eyes caught mine. He froze. His smile cracked. His glass trembled in his hand. Clara followed his gaze. She saw me. Then she saw the 4 teenagers standing beside me. Her painted smile vanished. Whispers cut through the hall. Who is she? Why is he staring? Those kids, look at them. I walked forward, steady steps across the polished floor. My children flanked me like soldiers. Guests turned their chairs. Phones lifted. A waiter nearly stumbled as I passed. Daniel's face drained of color. He muttered something to Clara. She pulled her arm from his grip. Daniel, who is she? He said nothing. I stopped at his table. The music faltered. The room held its breath. I spoke his name for the first time in 17 years. Hello, Daniel. He stood, forcing a smile. Scarlett. This is unexpected. Unexpected, I said. My voice carried. 17 years ago, you told me I was barren. You told me I was nothing. Do you remember? Gasps rippled through the crowd. Guests stared. Phones recorded. Clara's voice rose sharp, slicing through the silence. Daniel, what is she talking about? He stammered. Nothing. She is lying. She. I raised my hand. My children stepped closer. These are my children, I said. 4 of them. Each one proof of the lie you built your life on. The room exploded with whispers. Clara's face went pale. Daniel shook his head, desperate. This is not true, he said. They are not. I cut him off. They are mine. And tonight everyone will know what you did. Clara turned, her voice trembling but loud enough for every guest to hear. Daniel, did you lie to me too? The ballroom froze. Clara's voice still echoed in the silence. Daniel, did you lie to me too? Guests leaned forward. Phones were already recording. The board members at his table exchanged looks. Daniel raised his hands, trying to calm the room. This is a mistake. She is confused. Scarlett, you should not be here. I stepped closer. 17 years ago, you paid a doctor to call me infertile. You left me for her. Now look at me, Daniel. Look at them. I motioned to my children. For faces you never expected to see. Mira crossed her arms, her gaze locked on him. My youngest son stared at the floor, jaw clenched. The guests whispered louder. Clara's voice sharpened. Daniel, answer her. Is this true? He tried to smile, but his voice cracked. No. None of this is true. She is here to embarrass me. I leaned forward, my voice cutting through his denial. Then why is your doctor's name on falsified records? Why does the timeline show you with Clara before our divorce was final? Gasps rose. Clara's face twisted. She turned to him. Before the divorce? You told me she was gone. Daniel reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Clara, listen, this woman. I am not just a woman, I said. I am the wife you erased. I am the truth you buried. A man at the next table stood. Daniel, is this some kind of joke? People are filming. Another whispered. This will hit the press tonight. Daniel's mask cracked. Sweat beaded at his forehead. He grabbed my arm and hissed. Enough. Leave now or you will regret this. My eldest son stepped forward. Do not touch her. His voice was firm, steady. Daniel let go. Clara shook her head, backing away. You told me she could never have children. You said she was broken. You said. She stopped, her eyes on my children. But they look like you, Daniel. The room buzzed with shock. Someone muttered. They do. The jawline. The eyes. Daniel barked. Stop this. None of you know what you are saying. I raised my phone high. On the screen was a photo. Him and Clara, dated months before he filed for divorce. I turned the screen to the nearest reporter. 17 years of lies. Tonight you see the first crack. The reporter's eyes widened. He lifted his own camera. Flashes exploded across the hall. Daniel lunged toward me, but security moved between us. One guard whispered into his earpiece. Eyes fixed on my children. Clara's voice broke. Tell me, Daniel. Did you lie about her? Did you lie about me? He spun toward her. I built this for us. You want to throw it away because she barged in here with stories? She shouted back, stories? Those are children, Daniel. The orchestra stood in silence. Donors shifted uncomfortably. One woman whispered. His career is over. Daniel tried to recover, lifting his hands. Everyone, please calm down. We will sort this privately. Enjoy the evening. But no one lifted a glass. No one laughed. Dozens of eyes watched me instead of him. I lowered my phone steady. This is only the beginning. The board chair, an older man with a stern face, rose from his seat. Mr. Hale, you will address this immediately. Tomorrow we meet. Tonight we end this event before it destroys everything. Daniel's jaw locked. He pointed at me. You think you can walk in here and ruin me? I met his glare. No, Daniel. You ruined yourself 17 years ago. The security guard stepped between us again. Sir, the press is outside. If you want this controlled, you end it now. Daniel's fists trembled. Clara turned away, whispering to herself. 17 years, all lies. My children stood close, shoulders squared, silent witnesses. As we turned to leave, a hand slipped a folded note into my daughter Myra's pocket. She felt it, pulled it out, and read 4 words that froze her in place. He will silence you. The ballroom was still buzzing when I walked out with my children. Phones were raised, flashes had burned into my eyes, but the damage was already done. The whispering behind me was no longer gossip. It was evidence that the lie had cracked in front of witnesses. But words were not enough. He could spin them, twist them, bury them under money. I needed proof. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with my daughter Mira. She placed the folded note in front of me. 4 words stared up. He will silence you. I read it again and again. Did you see who gave this to you? She shook her head. No. I only felt it in my pocket. I exhaled slowly. Then we do not wait. We dig. The next morning I called an old friend, Julia, who worked at the county hospital. She had been a clerk back when Daniel and I tried fertility treatments. If anyone knew where the old files were, it was her. Her voice was hesitant. "Scarlett, those records are sealed. Some of them were altered." "I know," I said. "That is why I need them. Please." She agreed to meet me after her shift. We sat in her car in the staff parking lot. She pulled a small envelope from her bag. "I should not even have this. But I saw your name and I remembered. It never sat right with me." Inside were copies of my test results, 2 sets dated the same month. One said infertile. The other said normal reproductive function. Both signed by the same doctor. My hands shook. 2 results. 2 versions. Julia nodded. "Someone tampered. I think it was Dr. Hart. He had access and he had debts. Big ones." I slid the papers back into the envelope. "Thank you. You never saw me tonight." She nodded once and drove off without looking back. At home, my youngest son asked, "What is that?" "Truth," I said. "And we are going to need more of it." The next day, I hired a private investigator. His name was Mason. He was direct with a sharp eye. I laid the envelope on his desk. He studied the papers. 2 reports. Same date. "That is sloppy." "Sloppy or deliberate," I said. He leaned back. "If he bribed the doctor, we will find the money. Transfers, deposits, shell accounts. Do you want me to dig?" "Yes. And I want it fast." Mason nodded. "Give me a week." But I did not wait. I went back to the hospital myself, requesting access to digital archives. The clerk frowned. "These are restricted." I leaned forward. "Pull them. Every log. Every user account that touched my file." After an hour, she returned pale. "Your record was changed on a Friday evening. Terminal number 14. User ID Harty. Dr. Hart." I took a photo of the screen. "Print it." She shook her head. "I will lose my job." I placed $200 on the counter. "You never saw me. Just print it." Her hands trembled, but she handed me the pages. I left quickly, my heart pounding. That evening, Mason called. "You were right. Hart received a deposit 17 years ago. $10,000 into an LLC that shut down months later. The sender was a holding company, one tied to Daniel's firm." I closed my eyes. "That is the link." "Not enough yet," Mason said. "But strong." The next day, I visited Dr. Hart's office. The waiting room was empty. He opened the door himself, startled to see me. "Scarlett, what are you doing here?" I stepped inside. "You signed 2 reports in the same month. One said I was infertile. The other did not. Which one was true?" He swallowed hard. "You do not understand." "I understand you took money." His face paled. "You cannot prove that." I dropped the printouts on his desk. "This says I can." He stared at the logs, the user ID, the timestamp. His hand shook. "If you testify," I said, "you keep your license. If you hide, you lose it all." He sank into his chair. "You do not know what he promised me. He said it was just paperwork, that no one would ever see." "But I saw," I said. "And now the world will too." He buried his face in his hands. "Leave. Please. Just leave." I walked out, my pulse racing. Outside, Mason was waiting in his car. "How did it go?" "He is cracking," I said. "He will fold." Mason nodded. "Then we keep pressing. Follow the money, follow the files. The truth is in both." That night, as I organized the evidence, my phone buzzed again. The same unknown number. This time it was not a text. It was a video. I pressed play. The footage showed my children walking home from school. A car idled nearby. The camera zoomed in on their faces. Then the video cut out. My stomach turned to stone. A new message appeared under the video. "Stop digging, Scarlett. Or next time we will not just watch." The video replayed on my phone again and again. My children walking home. A car idling in the distance. The cut to black. The message, "Stop digging or next time we will not just watch." I locked my phone and forced my hands to steady. Fear could not win. I needed allies. The first call I made was to my sister, Lena. She answered on the second ring. Scarlett? It is late. What happened? I told her everything: Daniel, the gala, the forged medical files, the deposit to Dr. Hart, the threats. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, her voice was sharp. You should not be alone right now. I am coming over. She arrived 20 minutes later, her hair still wet from the shower, jacket thrown over her shoulders. She hugged the children first, then sat across from me at the kitchen table. Show me. I handed her the phone. She watched the video, jaw tightening. They filmed them. They want you scared. But we are not giving them that. Her words steadied me. I cannot protect them alone, Lena. Daniel has money, power, lawyers. If he is willing to threaten children, he will not stop. Then we bring in someone who can fight him on equal ground. She already had a name. Amelia Ward. Family law, fraud cases, unshakable in court. Lena dialed her office and left a message. By morning, Amelia called back. Her voice was calm, precise. Bring everything you have. Documents, messages, video. Do not delete anything. We met that afternoon. Amelia's office smelled of leather and ink. Shelves of case files lined the walls. She shook my hand firmly, then sat with a notebook open. Tell me everything from the beginning. I spoke for an hour. Daniel's accusation, the falsified reports, Clara, the gala, the threats. She wrote without looking up. Only when I finished did she fold her hands. You have more than anger. You have evidence. Enough to subpoena Hart, enough to trace money, enough to expose fraud. Exposing him is not enough, I said. He rewrote my life. He told the world I was barren while he built a legacy on that lie. I want the truth public. I want it undeniable. Amelia studied me. That means risk. If you step into the light, he will strike back harder. Are you prepared? I nodded. Yes. She tapped her pen. Then we start with the hospital. We request access logs, chain of custody for your file. We subpoena Hart. We freeze the financial trail Mason found. And we prepare for trial if he refuses to settle. Lena leaned forward. What about the threats? The video? Amelia's voice hardened. Forward it to me. I will trace the number. If necessary, we involve law enforcement. But you do not respond. You never engage directly. I agreed. That evening, Mason, the investigator, arrived at my house. He carried a laptop bag. He greeted Lena and sat beside me. I pulled more records, he said. Hart's LLC received multiple deposits over the years. Not just one. Payments aligned with milestones in Daniel's life. His remarriage, his first child, his company expansion. Each time, money flowed into Hart's accounts. Lena shook her head. So Hart was on his payroll for years. Looks that way, Mason said. I also traced the car in the video. A black sedan, tinted windows. Registered to a shell company connected to Daniel's firm. Not proof he ordered it, but too close to ignore. I clenched my fists. He is watching us. Amelia's voice was calm but sharp. Good. That means he is scared. We keep building. We do not stop. We spent hours at the table. Papers spread, files copied, timelines drawn. Every piece of evidence stacked higher. The children hovered near the doorway, listening in silence. At one point, Mira spoke. Mom, what if he comes after us? I looked at her. Then he will find out we are stronger than he remembers. She nodded, standing straighter. By midnight, Amelia closed her notebook. There is a charity dinner next week. Bigger than the gala. Cameras, donors, press. That will be the moment. But we do not walk in blind. We prepare. We control the reveal. I stared at her. How? She outlined the plan. Copies of evidence sealed in envelopes. One delivered to the board chair's lawyer. One to a reporter known for exposing corporate fraud. One filed at the courthouse. Even if Daniel tried to shut the event down, the truth would already be moving. Lena looked at me. You ready for that? I answered without hesitation. I have been ready for 17 years. As Amelia gathered her papers, my phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. This time, no words. Just a photo. Daniel sitting in his office staring directly at the camera. A single line written across the bottom. We see you too. The photo of Daniel on my phone stayed burned into my mind. His eyes staring into the camera. The words across the bottom. We see you too. I showed it to Amelia. She studied it without flinching. He wants you rattled. It means your evidence is close enough to hurt him. That is good. Good. Lena asked. They are watching her. Watching the kids. Amelia nodded. That is exactly why we strike now. With structure. With precision. We cleared the kitchen table. Amelia laid out 3 folders. Mason opened his laptop. Lena poured coffee. My children sat in the living room silent listening. Amelia spoke first. Step 1. Documentation. Every file, every record, every transfer, every log. Copies in triplicate. Digital backups stored offsite. If he tries to bury you, he cannot bury the truth. Mason typed quickly. Already mirrored the hospital files. Logs from Heart's terminal are secured. I have the bank records too. 17 years of deposits tied to Daniel's shell companies. Amelia nodded. Step 2. Witnesses. We need people willing to talk. Julia, the hospital clerk. Hart if he cracks. Anyone who saw him with Clara before the divorce. The more voices, the stronger the case. I said quietly, Hart is scared. He might fold. Amelia's eyes narrowed. Then we push him harder. He loses his license if he lies. He keeps it if he tells the truth. He will not risk prison for Daniel Hale. Step 3, Mason added, is the press. Quiet contact first. We give one trusted reporter controlled access. Enough to make them hungry. Not enough to print yet. That way when we drop everything they are ready. Amelia tapped the final folder. Step 4. The reveal. The charity dinner. It is the perfect stage. Public, polished, impossible to shut down fast. That night the lie ends. Lena leaned forward. What about the threats? Amelia's voice was firm. We treat them as confirmation. He is desperate. He wants silence. That tells me we are hitting the mark. We keep our eyes open, we move carefully, but we do not stop. I breathed slowly. What do you need from me? Courage, Amelia said. And patience. The rest we will handle together. The next week was war in slow motion. Mason traced accounts late into the night. Transfers from Daniel's company funneled into Hart's shells. Payments disguised as consulting fees. Julia, the clerk, signed a statement confirming the duplicate reports. I drove to her house myself to thank her. She looked frightened but resolute. 17 years, Scarlet. I carried this guilt. I am ready to speak. Meanwhile, Amelia drafted subpoenas. Each one a knife waiting to be unsheathed. Hart's name was on all of them. I kept my children close. School, home, no detours. Mira stayed alert, watching the streets, scanning for cars. Every time my phone buzzed, I braced for another threat. One night, as we spread papers across the table, Mason leaned back. He will not go quietly. Men like him never do. But we have enough to corner him. Amelia closed her folder. Not yet. We need one more piece. Something personal. Something undeniable. What? I asked. A confession, she said simply. In his voice. In his words. If we get that, the rest is unshakable. The room fell silent. How? Lena asked. Amelia looked at me. He still sees you as the woman he controlled. He will want to confront you privately. If he calls, if he demands a meeting, you go. We will wire you. We record everything. One wrong word and his empire collapses. Lena slammed her hand on the table. Too dangerous. Amelia's eyes stayed steady. Dangerous, yes. But effective. And legal. Once we have his words, he cannot run. I felt my chest tighten. The thought of being in a room with him again after 17 years made my stomach turn. But I nodded. If it ends this, I will do it. Amelia exhaled. Then we are ready. 3 envelopes, sealed evidence, prepared statements, a reporter on standby. The night of the charity dinner. Everything goes out at once. If he fights, the world will see. Mason leaned forward. And if he tries something before that? Amelia's lips thinned. Then we adjust. But no matter what, the truth will break through. It was close to midnight when everyone left. Lena hugged me tightly. Do not face him alone. I will not, I promised. But when I locked the door and checked the windows, I felt eyes on me. Shadows outside. The note. The video. The photo. He was not waiting. He was already circling. I gathered the folders, stacked them neatly, and slid them into the safe hidden under the floor. Then I sat in the dark kitchen, listening to the quiet house. My phone buzzed. A new message. One sentence. Tomorrow we talk. Alone. The message stayed on my phone all night. Tomorrow we talk. Alone. I stared at the screen until dawn. My children slept upstairs. The house was quiet, but I could not close my eyes. Daniel wanted a meeting before the charity dinner. If I refused, he might escalate. If I agreed, it could be the mistake that destroyed everything. By morning, Amelia called. I told her about the message. She listened in silence, then said, "He is rattled. That is why he is reaching out. If you meet him, we wire you. We get his words on record. This could be the confession we need." Lena's voice cut in from the background. "It is a trap. He will try to scare her, maybe worse." Amelia's tone stayed calm. "Which is why we control it. We set the place. We watch every exit. Scarlett is never alone." I breathed out. "Where?" "Neutral ground," Amelia said. "Public, but private enough for him to speak. A hotel conference room. We will wire you, but we will not let him see us." That afternoon, Mason set everything up. A small microphone hidden under my blouse, a tracker in my phone. He handed me an earpiece. "If you say the word enough, we come in. Do not hesitate." I nodded, though my hands trembled. At 7, I walked into the hotel. Daniel was already there. Alone. No Clara, no board members. Just him, standing near the window with a drink in his hand. "Scarlett," he said, his voice low. "You should not have come." I sat across from him. "You asked me to." He smirked. "You think you are clever. Parading children into my gala. Whispering lies. You want to ruin me." "They are not lies," I said. "They are the truth you buried." His face hardened. "What do you want?" "I want the world to know what you did. You paid a doctor. You forged reports. You told everyone I was barren so you could run to Clara without shame." He slammed his glass down. Careful. The microphone caught every word. My pulse hammered, but I kept my voice steady. "You destroyed my life, Daniel. And you will not silence me this time." For a moment he said nothing. Then he leaned forward, his voice a whisper. "Do you know why I did it? Because I could. Because you were weak. Because no one would ever believe you." The room spun. Mason's voice buzzed faintly in my ear. "We got it. Keep him talking." I forced myself to ask, "And Hart? How much did you pay him?" Daniel's jaw tightened. Enough to make sure the reports said what I needed them to say. My breath caught. That was it. The words I needed. But then his eyes narrowed. He leaned closer. "You are recording this, aren't you?" My chest seized. He reached for my blouse. Before his hand touched me, the door burst open. Mason and Lena rushed in. "Meeting is over," Mason barked. Daniel stood, rage flashing across his face. "You think this will stick? I will bury you. I will bury all of you." Amelia stepped in behind them, holding up a phone. "Not this time. You just confessed, Daniel. And now it is recorded." His expression flickered. Shock, then fury, then something darker. He straightened his suit. "You think the board will believe you? You think the press will care? By the time you wake up tomorrow, everything you have will be gone." He stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I exhaled, shaking. Lena grabbed my hand. "You got him. It is over." But Amelia's face was grim. "No, it is not over. He will not let this go. He has too much to lose." That night, as I tucked my children into bed, I saw the worry in their eyes. Mira asked softly, "Is he going to hurt us?" I kissed her forehead. "No. We are stronger than him now." But even as I said it, headlights lingered too long outside our house. A black car idled across the street. By morning, the news broke. A reporter had leaked a story, not mine but Daniel's. Headlines screamed, "CEO claims ex-wife stalked him at gala." Children used in smear campaign. My phone lit up with messages. Friends asking questions. Strangers sending threats. His version of the story was already out first. Amelia called, her voice tight. Scarlet, change of plans. He is trying to flip the narrative. If we do not act tonight, we lose everything. The headlines burned through the morning. CEO claims ex-wife stalked him at gala. Daniel Hale targeted by obsessed former spouse. Every channel, every blog repeated his words. He painted me as unstable, desperate, bitter. My children as pawns in a sick game. I stared at the screen while my phone buzzed with threats. Mira slammed her fist on the table. He is lying again. He is doing to you what he did 17 years ago. Yes, I said quietly. Which means tonight we end it. Amelia arrived at noon with Mason and Lena. She spread folders across the table. The charity dinner is tonight. Guests, press, donors. We do not let his story win. We drop the truth all at once. Mason powered up his laptop. We have the recording from last night. His voice admitting he paid Hart. That is gold. Combine that with the hospital logs, the bank transfers, Julia's statement. He cannot spin out of it. Lena crossed her arms. What about the threats? The car outside. Amelia's tone was sharp. Security detail is in place. The children stay home with guards. Scarlet, you come with us. You speak when it is time. Nothing more. I nodded. By evening, the hotel glowed with lights. Cameras lined the red carpet. Reporters shouted questions as black cars pulled up. Inside, the ballroom shimmered with chandeliers and gold-trimmed banners. Daniel stood at the center again, smiling, shaking hands, pretending nothing was wrong. We slipped in quietly. Amelia handed sealed envelopes to a reporter, a board lawyer, and a court clerk, all at the same time. Mason set up a projector near the stage. Lena stayed by my side. At 8 o'clock, Daniel walked onto the stage. Applause filled the room. He raised a hand for silence. Ladies and gentlemen, he said smoothly, I know there have been rumors, lies spread by a bitter woman from my past. Tonight, let us put those to rest and focus on what matters. Our mission, our future. The crowd clapped again. Cameras flashed. Then Amelia nodded to Mason. The projector lit up behind him. On the giant screen, Daniel's own face appeared. His voice followed, low and cold. Do you know why I did it? Because I could. Because no one would believe her. I paid hard enough to make sure the report said what I needed them to say. Gasps ripped through the ballroom. Daniel froze. His smile died. The recording played again, louder this time. I paid hard enough to make sure the report said what I needed them to say. Cameras swung from the screen to his face. Reporters shouted questions. Mr. Hale, is this your voice? Did you falsify medical records? Did you bribe a doctor? Daniel's face drained of color. He raised his hand, stammering. This is fabricated. Do not believe it. But Amelia stepped forward, her voice ringing clear. The logs from the hospital proved Dr. Hart altered Scarlett Hale's file on orders. Bank transfers show payments from Daniel's company to Hart's shells. A sworn statement from a clerk confirms duplicate reports. And tonight you all hear his own words. The room erupted. Guests whispered, phones lit up, flashes blinded. Clara pushed through the crowd, her voice shrill. Daniel, tell me this is not true. He reached for her, but she slapped his hand away. You ruined everything. You ruined me. The board chair rose from his seat. Mr. Hale, your position is suspended pending investigation. Effective immediately. Reporters swarmed closer. Questions flew like bullets. Did you falsify records to divorce your wife? Did you build your career on fraud? Did you lie to your current wife too? Daniel shouted. This is a conspiracy. She is lying. I stepped forward for the first time. My voice was steady. These are my children. The children you said I could never have. 17 years you built your empire on a lie. Tonight it falls. The room fell into chaos. Clara stormed out, shoving past cameras. Donors whispered furiously. The board members huddled in panic. Daniel tried to shout over them, but his voice drowned in the roar. The projector froze on his face, his own words damning him. Amelia leaned toward me. It is done. But I kept my eyes on him. His glare burned across the room. his lips forming silent words. This is not over. As security escorted him off stage, my phone buzzed. A single message appeared. You exposed me. Now watch what I expose. The ballroom was no longer a place for music and speeches. It had turned into a storm. Voices clashed, chairs scraped, flashes blinded. The projector still glowed with Daniel's face, his own words repeating. I paid hard enough to make sure the reports said what I needed them to say. Reporters shoved forward. Donors rose from their seats, whispering, some furious, some already pulling out their phones. The board members huddled in tight circles, their expressions grim. Clara stood frozen for a moment, then snapped. She grabbed the microphone from its stand and shouted over the noise. This man, this husband, lied to all of you. He lied to me. He lied to everyone. Her voice cracked. 17 years of marriage, and I never knew the truth. Gasps swept through the crowd. Cameras swung toward her. Daniel reached for the mic, but she pulled it away. Do not touch me. She stepped back, her face twisted with fury. I believed you. I defended you. And all along you were a fraud. Daniel tried to smile, but the cameras caught his panic. Clara, please. She cut him off. Do not say my name. She turned to the board members. If you keep him, you keep the lie. Then she stormed out, her heels clattering on the marble floor. Reporters chasing her to the exit. Security moved closer to the stage. One guard whispered into his radio. Another blocked Daniel's attempt to leave through the back door. Amelia raised her voice. Ladies and gentlemen, the documents are already filed with the court. What you have seen tonight is only part of the evidence. By morning, the truth will be public record. Phones lit up with alerts. News sites were already posting the clip. CEO confesses to fraud in leaked recording. The headlines spread faster than Daniel's denials. A board member, stern and pale, stepped to the microphone. Effective immediately, Mr. Hale is removed from his duties. An emergency session will appoint interim leadership. Our organization does not stand with deception. Applause broke out, not for Daniel but for his removal. Guests clapped, some loudly, some hesitantly, as if desperate to distance themselves from him. Daniel's face twisted. He shouted into the chaos. You fools! She is lying. This is all staged. I stepped forward. My children stood behind me, silent but unshakable. 17 years ago, you called me barren. Tonight, the world sees you barren of truth. The room roared. Some gasped, others cheered. Daniel's eyes locked on me, fury burning. Mason moved closer, whispering, We need to get you out now. It is going to explode. 2 security guards escorted Daniel off stage, his protests drowned by questions. Reporters shoved microphones at him. Mr. Hale, how long have you falsified records? Did your company pay bribes? Did you use your wife's medical files to escape your marriage? He tried to push through, but flashes blinded him. His tie hung loose, his suit wrinkled. For the first time, he looked small. I followed Amelia and Lena toward the exit. Guests parted, some nodding to me, others staring in shock. Mira held my hand tight. My youngest whispered, Is it over? I answered softly, Almost. Outside, the night air hit like a wave. Reporters swarmed the steps. Cameras blinding, microphones thrust forward. Amelia held up a hand. No questions tonight. Documents will speak in court. But one reporter pushed closer. Scarlett, are these really your children? Are they proof? I met his gaze. They are my life. They are the truth. And the world will see the rest soon. Flashes exploded again. The children shielded their faces. Security cleared a path. We slipped into a waiting car. Mason drove fast, cutting through the traffic. Inside, silence. Only the sound of Myra's breath, shaky but steady. Then my phone buzzed. A new message. Daniel's number this time. No disguise. No unknown sender. You humiliated me. You think it is finished? Watch tomorrow. You will wish you had stayed silent. Lena cursed under her breath. Amelia snatched the phone, her eyes narrowing. This is good. Direct threat. We save it. We file it. But Mason shook his head. He is desperate. That makes him dangerous. I stared out the window as the city lights blurred past. For 17 years I lived in silence. Tonight I spoke. And now the war was no longer hidden. It was public. At home, I tucked the children in again. Mira lingered at the doorway. He looked scared tonight. Yes, I said. Because the truth is finally stronger than him. But when the house went quiet, headlights flared once more outside. A black car slowed, paused, then drove away. My phone buzzed again at midnight. A single image arrived, my front door taken from the street. The caption read, "Next time we come in." Morning light spilled through the curtains, but I had not slept. My phone buzzed without pause all night. When I finally unlocked it, hundreds of messages flooded the screen. Reporters, old friends, strangers. Headlines blared across every site. CEO Daniel Hale exposed in fraud scandal. Secret recording reveals decades-long deception. Ex-wife and 4 children shatter corporate image. Clips of the projector moment had gone viral. Millions had seen his face as his own words damned him. Mira padded into the kitchen, holding her phone. "Mom, look." She showed me a video of Clara outside her mansion, surrounded by cameras. Clara's voice trembled. "I did not know. I was lied to just like everyone else. I will not stand beside him again." Then she slammed the door. Lena, sipping coffee at the table, raised her eyebrows. His wife just threw him to the wolves. Amelia entered with a stack of papers. She had not slept either. "It has begun." The board filed emergency motions to remove him permanently. Shareholders want investigations. The district attorney's office is reviewing fraud charges. Mason opened his laptop. "And Hart?" He cracked. "He called me at dawn. He is ready to testify. He admitted the payments. He admitted falsifying the reports. He wants a deal to keep his license." I sat down slowly. After 17 years, it is finally real. But Amelia's face stayed grim. "Do not celebrate yet. He still has resources. He will fight back. The threats prove it." As if on cue, my phone buzzed again. A new message. A photo of my children's school. The caption, "Nice place. Shame if something happened." Mira saw it over my shoulder. "He is still watching us." Lena slammed her hand on the table. "We call the police now." Amelia nodded. "Yes. But we use it. Direct threats add weight to the case. Every message, every photo builds his downfall." By midday, 2 detectives arrived. They took statements, copied my phone, and promised extra patrols near the house. One of them, Detective Rivera, looked at me seriously. "He is cornered. That makes him dangerous. Do not go anywhere alone." I agreed, though my heart raced. Meanwhile, news vans lined the street outside. Neighbors stood on porches, whispering. A reporter shouted from the sidewalk, "Scarlett, can you confirm the children are his?" Another yelled, "Will you sue for damages?" I shut the blinds. The children huddled in the living room, watching cartoons with the volume high to drown the noise. Mason pulled me aside. "Scarlett, the more public this gets, the safer you are. Cameras mean witnesses. He cannot touch you without everyone knowing." But safety felt fragile. That afternoon, Amelia held a press conference on my behalf. She stood at a podium outside the courthouse. Cameras flashed as she spoke. For 17 years, Scarlett Hale lived under a lie created by Daniel Hale. Medical records falsified. Marriage destroyed under false pretenses. Tonight, the truth is on record. We will pursue justice in full. I watched from home, my children beside me. Mira whispered, "She sounds strong." "She is," I said. "And she is with us." Then the feed cut to footage of Daniel leaving his office, flanked by lawyers. Reporters swarmed him. "Mr. Hale, did you bribe a doctor? Did you falsify your wife's records? Are those children yours?" He shoved past them, face twisted, shouting, "No comment." His lawyer pushed him into a car. The door slammed. Lena smirked. "He looks finished." But Amelia called moments later. Her tone was sharp. "Do not relax." He filed for an injunction to block the recording from court. If a judge grants it, we lose the strongest weapon. My stomach dropped. Can he do that? He can try. We will fight it. But he is not going down without tearing everything around him apart. By evening, protesters gathered outside his company headquarters. Some held signs, "Justice for Scarlett." Others, Fraud has no legacy. Inside our house, tension thickened. My youngest asked quietly, "Will he hurt us?" I pulled him close. "Not if I can help it." Then as night fell, Mason's phone buzzed. He read the screen, his face hardening. Scarlett. His car just left his estate without security. He is moving alone. Lena frowned. Why would he do that? Amelia's voice chilled the room. Because desperate men do desperate things. My phone buzzed at that exact moment. A live video feed appeared. Daniel's face filled the screen. He was in his car, eyes wild. His words were ragged. "If I lose everything, you lose everything too." The live feed shook in my hand. Daniel's face filled the screen, his eyes bloodshot, his voice unsteady. "If I lose everything, you lose everything too." Then the video cut to black. For a moment, silence gripped the room. My children stared at me. Lena's hand squeezed my shoulder. Amelia's voice broke through the tension. "This is the end of his rope." We moved fast. Within hours, detectives traced his car. He had abandoned it on the side of the highway. By morning, news cameras captured footage of him walking into a police precinct, surrounded by his lawyers. He wore the same suit from the gala, but wrinkled, stained, his tie missing. Reporters shouted questions. He said nothing. Charges followed quickly. Fraud, bribery, tampering with medical records, harassment, threats. The district attorney's office moved faster than I expected, fueled by public outrage. The board released a statement cutting ties. Shareholders demanded restitution. His empire crumbled in days. I stood outside the courthouse a week later as the indictment was read. Flashes blinded me, but I kept my head high. Reporters swarmed with questions. "Scarlett, do you feel vindicated? Are the children his? What will you do now?" I answered simply. I raised 4 children alone. I built a life from nothing. Daniel Hale tried to erase me. He failed. This is justice, not revenge. And now we move forward. The crowd erupted in more questions, but Amelia guided me through the doors. Inside, the courtroom buzzed. Daniel sat at the defense table, thinner, paler, eyes sunken. He refused to look at me. When Hart testified, his voice trembled. "Yes, I accepted payments. Yes, I falsified reports. Daniel Hale instructed me." The courtroom gasped. Daniel's lawyers tried to object, but the damage was done. I watched calmly. 17 years ago, he destroyed my marriage with a lie. Today, his lies destroyed him. After the session, I stepped outside. My children waited. Mira hugged me tight. "It is over, Mom." "Yes," I said, my voice steady. "It is over." That night, the house was quiet for the first time in weeks. No black cars outside. No buzzing threats on my phone. Just silence. The kind that feels earned. I sat with my children at the table. We ate, we laughed, we spoke of tomorrow instead of yesterday. For the first time, the weight lifted. Mira asked, "Do you regret it? Exposing him?" I shook my head. No, because silence is what he counted on. Silence is how he won for 17 years. But truth is louder. And truth always outlasts lies. I looked at each of them. Never let anyone tell you who you are. Never let anyone erase you. You are proof that even when someone calls you broken, you can stand. You can fight. You can win. They smiled, and in their eyes I saw the legacy Daniel never claimed but could never destroy. My children. My truth. My revenge. And now my message to anyone watching, anyone listening. If you have been betrayed, do not let silence cage you. Lies lose their power when you speak. Stand up. Speak out. Do not let anyone write your story for you. This was mine. And I survived.